have done something shocking, now heaven knows. Anything goes.
Wait, hold on. Anything goes? Isn't that what's been happening in America for some time now? I think more and more Americans are waking up to this absurdity, and it shows by the overwhelming response we're getting with new volunteers. We hear and see you believe COS is the solution, as big as the problem. So thank you, and let's keep growing this grassroots army. Our vision is to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists, and our mission statement is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. So, if you've had enough of Anything Goes, join us every Monday at 7 p.m. as our State Director and host, Dale Parrish, will show you how we can actually make a difference by using the Constitution to save the Constitution and our country. So join us now for Indiana Live!
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you, Maringo Mike. Yes, my name's Dale Parrish. I'm the State Director for Convention of States here in Indiana. And I want to welcome you to our Monday evening COS Indiana Live broadcast. Good to have you with us tonight. I want to first get going here, and I want to, first of all, I want to thank you all for your tremendous response to our roundtable meetings. Now, we had our second monthly roundtable meeting on July 26th, just a week ago, and it was just really a great format, great evening. And this, as I mentioned, this is our second monthly roundtable meeting. We have decided, and we started this on June 28th. Our second one was just July 26th. We decided that we would dedicate the fourth Monday of every month to a roundtable meeting. So every fourth Monday, the COS Indiana Live broadcast, like you're viewing tonight, will be totally dedicated to that of a roundtable meeting. So that's what we did on July 26th. And again, thank you very much for your response to that. Now, our next roundtable meeting will be then August 23rd, this month, August 23rd, fourth Monday. And we're going to be honored that evening, I should say. The format's going to change a little bit, and that's great. That's what we like to do. But we're going to have one of our state legislators on. Our state senator, Liz Brown, has committed to coming on and talking to us on our roundtable meeting. So that first segment we will devote to her and bring her on and get to know her, listen to what she has to say, ask her some questions. Senator Brown, who happens to be my state senator, but Senator Brown has been a supporter of Convention of States ever since back when the resolution was passed in 2016. So she's a good supporter, and so very friendly, and I think you'll enjoy meeting her and hearing her talk about what she has in store for us and what she has planned. So August 23rd, roundtable meeting. So you want to be sure and make note of that. In the meantime, please tune in every Monday evening, as you are tonight, for a regular COS Indiana Live broadcast. Now, I might also mention again that, of course, we come to you through our state Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana, but we're also live streaming on our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. So that is an alternative way of viewing the broadcast, is through our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. If you are a YouTube viewer, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll be up to date on any of the changes that we post to that channel. Now, I want to also mention again that we are taking the audio portion of our Monday evening broadcast, and we're offering that in the form of a podcast, COS Indiana Live podcast. So tonight's audio portion will be available tomorrow in the form of a podcast, I should say. Now, that podcast, you can find it at anchor.fm/Dale-Parish and the number 8. So that's anchor.fm/Dale-Parish and the number 8. It's where you can find our podcast. So you want to please make note of that. Now, let me just briefly go through the segments of our broadcast evenings this evening so you'll know what to expect. Now, in the first segment, we call it the interview segment. And in this segment, we try to bring on leadership individuals from our family here in Indiana, Convention of States in Indiana. And tonight, we have another one of our great new district captains. We have just been blessed this year with a good group of new district captains. And this young man is, I think, going to be another one of our great district captains. His name is Alan Corder, and Alan is the district captain in Indiana House District number 4. So won't say anything more about him right now until we bring him on so I can introduce him to you and you get to know him a little bit better. But that'll be in the first segment. Now, in the second segment, I call it the information segment. I'll bring up my PowerPoint, give you some more information about Convention of States here in Indiana, tell you some of the resources that we have available, and we're also going to talk about some upcoming events. And I'm going to do something a little new tonight. I'm going to show you some things about some events that have occurred in the month of July, and I'm going to try and do this now on every broadcast. You know, we talk about Convention of States and what we're trying to do. We talk about upcoming events. So I'm going to start showing you a little bit about events that we conduct. And that'll be in the form of pictures, maybe a little video now and then. So going to start that tonight. So that'll be all part of the information segment. Now, also, then in the third segment, then I'll recognize any viewer comments that we may have tonight. So if you are viewing, feel free to submit a comment in the comment section, and I'll try my best to get them on. Now, in the fourth segment, that's the contributors segment, and these are individuals that we've designated in our leadership group as COS Indiana Live contributors. And we've asked them to submit to me some brief videos of some topic that they're interested in. So one of our regulars is John Ackerman. John's contributions we call John's Journal. So we've got one of John's contributions tonight in the contributor segment. Then in the final segment, I call it the invitation segment. And in this segment, we'll give you a little more information about Convention of States. I've got a great video that I want to show you tonight in this segment. We featured this video on the Roundtable meeting, and I just thought it was so great. I decided that I'm going to utilize it here on our Monday evening broadcast, our regular broadcast. So we'll play that video, and then I'll invite you to join Convention of States and show you how to go about doing that. All right. So that'll be in the final segment, the invitation segment. Well, without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring in our guest this evening. And this is the first segment in the interview segment. So let's bring in Alan. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Dale.
Yeah, hi, Alan Corder. Alan is, like I said, one of our new district captains. How long have you actually been a district captain now, Alan?
I think it's about 4 months.
About 4 months?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Now, Alan, you are the new district captain for House District 4. So everyone knows we're organized around the lower house districts in Indiana, and there's 100 of them. So we hope someday to have an Alan Corder, a district captain in each one of these districts. So we got a ways to go yet, but that's the ultimate goal. So Alan, tell everybody where in the state what is House District 4 located?
We're in the northwest corner of the state.
Okay.
The city of Valparaiso is really the largest city in that district.
Okay.
It goes from Highway 2 in the north to the town of Hebron in the south. And like I said, Valparaiso is by far the largest town.
Okay. Yeah, I've been through there many times. I live in Fort Wayne, so heading west on Route 30, that takes you right through the. I guess it's really the outskirts of Valparaiso. It doesn't go through the business district, but so Valparaiso. That's pretty much a good indication of where you're located. Okay, now let's. As I do with all guests, Convention of States individuals that I have as guests, I always ask to hear your COS story, not your life story, but your story on the how, when, where you became aware of Convention of States and how you joined Convention of States. So, Alan, tell us your COS story.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Well, to me it is. I usually golf about once a week with a partner, one guy, another retiree, and we go during the week. And as we were going one day, we were talking about retirement and how it was going and that kind of discussion. And I made some comment about it was getting kind of boring and I needed something to do, something to get active in. And my partner said that he had the perfect thing for me to do, and that's the COS story. And my partner, probably a lot of you have heard of him. He's very active. He's now a regional captain.
Right.
And his name is Dale Tipton. And he's very aggressive at talking to people about COS. And he did share it with me. And so I took it from there.
Okay.
And we're progressing, I guess, slowly but surely.
Well, I don't know I don't know if you paid Alan to make this comment or what, but I thought I would go ahead and put this up. Dale has already commented. Alan Corder is a good man who will make an outstanding district captain. So,
well, thank you, Dale.
He's watching you tonight, Alan.
Well, he's a good mentor and a good leader. So
good.
He's a good regional captain.
Regional captain, yes, that's right. Yes, Dale quite honestly hasn't been in Convention of States much longer than you have, Alan. But we were so impressed with Dale, and he's really come on so strong that we just went ahead and offered him the region captain position, and he took it. Now you got since I'm showing you some comments, I told you I would do this.
You'd scream.
Do you know Susan Lyon? Welcome, Alan. Rick and I wish you many signatures in Indiana 4.
Oh, well, thank you, Susan. I don't, but thank you very much.
Susan is our newsletter editor, state newsletter editor, and her husband, Rick Lyon, is our state events coordinator. So we've got a husband and wife team there that's very, very much involved in our organization here in Convention of States. So, and while I'm at it here, I might as well. Gary Harbaugh has commented thumbs up to both Dale, Tipton, and Alan. So you got a quite a fan base going here, Alan, tonight. So I think you organized this, but I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm in debt.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can get back to where I was before here. Okay. We've heard your COS story, and very good. Now, I like to ask new district especially new district captains, what objectives do you have set for yourself and your district? So, you want to talk a bit about the objectives that you have? I know one of your first ones was reaching the silent majority, the people you call the silent majority. You want to talk about that then?
Yeah, I feel that there's a lot of people that are out there that feel the way we do, the way I do, that are silent. They're not talking. They're not out campaigning, and they need to be reached. And I don't know the best way. I think there is a lot of ways that we can reach those people, and I'm sure they would all appreciate the information and the knowledge and ways to
excuse me
on everything that is going on in the government these days.
You're right, and there is that silent majority out there. We were all, I don't know about you, but I mean, I was certainly part of that at one time. So, yeah. Now, you also mentioned another objective had to do with original intent. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, of course, the Constitution is a perfect document, and if done right, we would be in fabulous shape. Right now, we're off track, and the intent of the Constitution is has been forgotten. I think, at least not given much attention as it should have been given.
No.
And we need to get back to that intent. I'm mostly concerned about the areas that we're going after in the convention, particularly the overpower and overspending and just neglect of our responsibilities.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna get to that. I know that was another thing that you had mentioned, but before we get to that, I know you wanted to talk about God's inspiration, about God's influence on our founding and so forth. That was important to you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the Constitution, I believe, was inspired by God. So it's a perfect document. He inspired, God inspired the founders, and the intent, I think, was to maintain the freedoms that we were given in the Constitution, our self-reliance, and the ability to make the decisions rightfully and godly.
All right.
And the Constitution, of course, is the cornerstone of our democracy.
Right.
And we need to get back to that that foundation.
Well, I know one of the things that you were very interested in, and this kind of ties in with your background as a accounting, finance type background. You're very, very concerned about the fiscal responsibility of our country, right?
Definitely. What is it? We're about 29 trillion or so in debt,
Right.
and growing in leaps and bounds.
Yep.
The news is overwhelming in that regard about the proposals that are being made. Our children, our grandchildren are going to suffer. We're fortunate that interest rates are very little, almost zero. And someday, I think, they're going to be back up to 4% or so, maybe even like before 8%, and that would drown us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that particularly is my concern. Really, the reason I think we're in debt that far is that we're trying to buy votes, and votes are way too important to be bought or sold.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of environment we're in now.
Well, and this is, of course, this is one of the three pillars of our resolution to have hold a convention of states, is to amend the Constitution to address the fiscal responsibility of our country and the fiscal situation of our country. So, very, very, very important. Well, Alan, as you know, as a district captain, one of the main responsibilities you have is to reach out to your state legislators and establish a relationship with them at all possible. And I know who are your state legislators, your state senator and state representative?
Ed Charbonneau and Edward Soliday.
Okay.
They're both Republicans. I don't know if they were around when the vote was for the amendments or the convention, excuse me.
Yeah.
But I will find out.
Yeah.
I haven't contacted him yet, but that's number one on my agenda.
Right. That's a main responsibility of the district captain.
Yes.
And if they weren't in office in 2016 when the resolution was signed, then you probably got an education challenge there with either one of them or both of them. So good. I'm glad to hear you're on top of that. Well, let's wrap it up on a note of self-governance. I know self-governance is one of the core values of Convention of States. And have you been involved in anything locally there, Alan, that would fall into the heading of self-governance?
I've been one of the silent majority. I am a member of the Republican Party.
Okay.
I am a church member, an active church member, and believe that, again, getting back to our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, our peers at work, at school. That's what I want to do is get involved with them.
Okay. All right.
And that's going to be hard for me because I'm kind of a introvert.
Well, we'll bring that out of you. We'll bring that out of you.
Yeah.
Alan, thank you for taking the time to talk with us tonight, and that was very good meeting you. And I want to wish you the best of luck. I think you've got a great region captain to help you along there, and I want you to support him. And of course, we're all here to help you in any way possible. So we want you to be successful. So
I know you've been real good help, and I appreciate the opportunity.
all right, Alan. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good night. Alan Corder. There you go, folks. Alan, I think, is going to be a great district captain for us. Like I said, we've picked up so many good district captains this starting out this year. So we're very blessed to have Alan and others like him with us tonight. So let me get on now into the second segment of this evening, and I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint so that you can see what I'm talking about. And let me get the full screen there. All right, here we go. Okay, folks. Now in Indiana, our vision statement here in Indiana is the same as our national vision statement for Convention of States, and that's to build a strong, engaged army of self-governing activists. Now, our mission statement in Indiana is to restore self-governance by recruiting, training, and deploying citizen activists to engage in all levels of government. So that's our mission statement here in Indiana. Now, we've set forth here in 2021 a number of objectives that we're trying to accomplish, and most of these that we're well on the way to accomplishing. We wanted to grow the number of supporters. We wanted to get some younger people involved. We want to get more region captains in place, more district captains in place. Implement call to action with regard to legislative action and deliver education. So we're well on our way to accomplishing all these objectives here that we had set forth for ourselves in 2021. Some resources, many resources available to us here in Indiana. Our main resource that we utilize and that you as an individual can utilize, and that's our national website, conventionofstates.com. You'll hear us make reference to this website frequently. It has a wealth of information for everyone to access. It's also a website that we use very much to administer the state here. So very important resource. Now, embedded in that national website is our state webpage, conventionofstates.com/Indiana. Social media platform, Facebook is our main platform, Convention of States Indiana. The broadcast is coming to you through that state Facebook page. We're also broadcasting on our YouTube channel, COS Indiana. Our YouTube channel, very much an educational resource. We have a lot of videos, PowerPoints, so forth, available to you on our YouTube channel. We'll also be posting recordings of our broadcast on Parler, on Rumble, Twitter, LinkedIn. So you're going to find us on many different social media platforms. Broadcast-wise, we're only broadcasting initially on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Podcasts, we have 2 podcasts that you can utilize. The first one is called The Free to Be Free. This is a podcast that our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips, does. And then we also have the COS Indiana Live podcast, which is basically the audio portion of our Monday evening broadcast, COS Indiana Live podcast. And I want to mention our state newsletter. We are so proud of our state newsletter. This is a monthly newsletter. And once you become a supporter of Convention of States here in Indiana, and you opt to receive our emails, you will receive this state newsletter. And I tell you, we are getting a lot of great attention on this. It's a very professionally done document. Like I said, you'll receive it in the email, and then we also will publish it and post it on our Facebook page. And we have a number of other platforms that we will be sharing the Facebook, the newsletter with everyone on other social media platforms. So please look for that. Here's some upcoming events that we have planned here in the state. Of course, I mentioned the roundtable, and I can see here I didn't update the date of the next roundtable. It's not July 26th. That's the old one. The next one will be August 23rd. So I need to correct that date, and I will get it done. The Morgan County Fair, that's in process right now, and down, I think, in the Martinsville area. River Valley Christian Church coming up, also in the Martinsville, Indiana area on August 12th. Rowan Festival in Rowan, Indiana, and a festival, Riley Children's Hospital Festival in LaGros, Indiana. That's in October. Now, what I wanted to, this is something new I wanted to show you. I want to give you some pictures of some events that have occurred here in the month of July, here in Indiana. And these are Convention of States events. Now, this is one that this is kind of different. We marched in a 4th of July parade in Noblesville, Indiana, and it's my understanding the parade was well attended, and we were well received in that parade. So we just marched in the parade carrying a banner, handing out pamphlets and literature on Convention of States, talking with people as they marched along. So this was a great event. We've only done this a few times, but I think due to the success of each time that we've done it, I think you're going to see us do this more frequently. So this was the 4th of July parade in Noblesville, Indiana. Now, this is a gun show that we attended early in the month of July. This was the Lake County Gun Show, and this was Allen Quarters Region Captain Dale Tipton put this on. Now, the two individuals pictured here, I believe I have this correct. I think that's Dale Tipton on the right, and that's another district captain in Region 1, John Donka. So this was a Lake County gun show. We have found gun shows to be good venues for information tables like this. And we just simply set up an information table, handing out buttons, pamphlets, literature on Convention of States, and talking to people about Convention of States, and then asking them to sign the petition and join Convention of States. So, like I said, we've had excellent results and responses from information tables like this at gun shows and other events where people gather. So I just wanted to share these with you. And here is another way that we reach out to the grassroots and get people involved in Convention of States. This is what we call a meet and greet that occurred in Greenfield, Indiana, and our district captain, Jill Jones, and that's Jill right there in the center. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but that's Jill in the black T-shirt, is the district captain for that district, and she hosted this meet and greet. Small group, but that's okay. That's another way for us to reach out and meet people and talk to them about convention of states. And that's all about growing the grassroots, folks. That's all about growing the grassroots. Now, our next broadcast will be August 9th. And this is going to be, we're going to bring on our the lady I call our super volunteer, Debbie Stewart. And Debbie comes on and gives us another episode in constitutional literacy. And she tells me that this episode, this chapter of constitutional literacy, is going to be on homosexual rights. So I think that should be very, very interesting. So this will be on our next broadcast, August 9th. That'll be Debbie Stewart will be coming on to be with us that evening. All right. So let me see if I think that's all I have for that segment. Let me see if we have any other viewer comments that I have missed. I don't see that we have any right now, so we'll move on here. I want to get in now to our next segment, which is the contributor segment, and in this segment we have another contribution by our one of our regulars, John Ackerman, on John's Journal. So let's go ahead and play John's Journal for you.
John Ackerman for Convention of States, Indiana. Somebody wiser than I once said that two of the greatest qualities to have in life are patience and wisdom. I saw this so wonderfully and humorously illustrated one day with a dog sitting there looking forlornly at the feeding dish full of dog food, and there was a skunk eating this dog's food. Can you picture that? And the dog just sat there watching with a forlorn expression on its face. Patience and wisdom. Just wait a while. You'll get to eat. And be wise. Don't mess with a skunk. Apply that to your life. Ask God to increase your patience and increase your wisdom. Two of the greatest qualities to have in life.
Well, thank you, John, for that contribution. I tell you, I always love John's contributions that he provides to us, and he's always providing me. I have many more that we're preparing for future broadcasts. So always enjoy John's contributions to us. We have some other contributors, but they're not keeping up with John's pace. So I have to get on their case a bit to give me some more contributions. So, but again, thank you very much, John, for that. Well, I want to get into the final segment here, which I call the invitation segment, and this time I'm going to, as I mentioned earlier, I've got a video here that we featured on our Roundtable meeting on July 26th, and I was just so impressed with the video, I decided that I'm going to use it in our Monday evening broadcast. So hope you enjoy this video, and then we'll wrap it up in the invitation segment. So here we go.
After the last election, liberty-minded Americans faced a difficult question. What do we do now? Our cities have been ravaged by riots. Calls from the left to defund the police continue unabated, while violent crime and murder rates skyrocket across the country. Joe Biden controls the White House. Sort of. Really, we all know that Joe Biden's no longer in control of his faculties, and others behind the scenes actually control the agenda. Socialists control Congress. Leftists control the deep state. Marxists control our country's schools and universities, and the tech oligarchs are their willing censors and watchful spies. So who has a plan to stop them? Certainly, we're not seeing courage from Capitol Hill to stand up to the Democrats and their woke mob. The good news is that we do have a plan to stop them. This is the only plan that bypasses Biden and Congress to save the republic. And this plan brings the fight to where we, the people, have a political advantage. While many Americans were disappointed in the outcome of this election at the presidential level, liberty-minded state legislators quietly swept to enormous victories. Now's the time to use this to our advantage and draw the fight for our liberties out of the swamp and into the battlefield where we, the people, have the advantage, in the states. This plan to call a convention of states can propose constitutional amendments that prohibit Congress from adding justices to the Supreme Court or states to the Union. This plan can secure our Second Amendment rights. It can eliminate the woke Department of Education, and it can stop the federal government from taking over the state election process. You need to know that this plan's underway already, and it's working. Join 5 million supporters and citizen activists, along with my friends Mark Levin, Rand Paul, Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck, Mike Huckabee, Sean Hannity, and many, many more.
The Convention of States, ultimately, fundamentally, the way to secure our republic.
Washington is so broken it may not be fixable, and that the only way you'll truly get reform is by having a convention where people decide, we need to have term limits, or we have to have a balanced budget amendment.
I have endorsed it, and I believe very strongly that it's the only way we're ever going to get a balanced budget amendment. It's the only way we're ever going to be able to bring some real reform to our system.
I mean, I've been a longtime supporter of the Convention of States and to reestablish the sort of guiding principles of the Constitution.
You have a chance of really saving the republic. I am all in. ConventionofStates.com.
And now I'm joining Convention of States to make this happen. So join me in this constitutional revolution at ConventionofStates.com. They have a petition. Go sign it today.
Support the only plan that bypasses Biden and Congress to save the republic. Sign the petition at ConventionofStates.com.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. I thought it was very good, and it kind of gives you, in a nutshell, gives you what we're trying to do here. We're trying to call, according to Article 5 of the Constitution. We're not making this up, folks. This is right in Article 5. Article 5 describes 2 ways to amend the Constitution. One is through Congress, which is the way we've amended the Constitution to date. But there is a second method in Article 5, and that's calling a convention of states, where the state legislatures call a convention of states. It takes 34 of them to call the convention, but it's calling a convention of states for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution. Of course, anything proposed then has to go through the same ratification process as in the first alternative, and that is 38 states, or 3/4 of the state legislatures, have to ratify any proposed amendments for them to become amendments to the Constitution. This is what we're trying to do, folks. This is why we call it the Convention of States. We're trying to call a convention of states. It takes 34 states to make this call. 15 states have passed the resolution calling for a convention of states. Yes, Indiana is one of those states. We were the 6th state to pass the resolution and call for a convention of states. So that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to bring about. Now, I want to invite you to join us in this effort and to join our family here in Indiana in Convention of States. And I want to show you how you go about doing that. And if I can do this right, let me see if I can get up here, and there. That's what I wanted. this is the website. This is the first step for you to take. The first step is to become a supporter, and that's a very, very important step. And you go to our website, conventionofstates.com. All right. Then you want to sign in. You want to provide your information, and you want to sign the petition and have it sent to your legislator. And it's this information up here on your personal address and so forth is very, very important, so that we can identify the proper state legislators for this petition to be sent to. So that's very, very important. There's general information on this first page that you'll see here. And this is very interesting. This tells you, this is a map of the country showing the states that have passed the resolution and where we stand in the other states, and how we what stage we're in getting other states passed. Right now, I'll tell you right now, we're focusing on North Carolina. As a matter of fact, we have a mission underway right now where many of us are making calls to COS supporters in North Carolina. They are down to a vote in the Senate, and it depends on that. If that vote passes, then North Carolina will become the 16th state. So to pass a resolution. So we're down to almost to the finish line in North Carolina. So we're all working hard to get people to contact their state senators and get them to vote in the affirmative on that. Anyway, that is the first page. That's the first thing that you look at when you go to the website. All right. Now up here at the top, if you would like to become more involved in Convention of States, if you've got some time and you would like to maybe take on some sort of leadership role, then click on the menu selection at the top here where it says Take Action. Click on that, and this takes you to the Take Action page. And here where it says Become a Leader, click on Become a Leader, and that'll take you down to show you the different positions that we have available where you can volunteer to become a leader. And so you want to look at these very closely because there's different time requirements involved here. But if one's of interest to you, and I would strongly urge you to take a look at the district captain position. This is one that we really, really want more and more people to get involved with. But if you are interested in that, open it up, read more about it. And if you're really interested, then go ahead and make application, and that you're not obligated in any way. Don't worry about that. But that your name will come up on a report, so one of us then will contact you to talk to you more about that position. So that's how you become, that's how you join Convention of States, and that's how, if you have a desire to get more involved, then that's how you can get into a leadership role. Or if you want to just be a volunteer, then you can just join a volunteer team. So there's different ways for you to become involved in Convention of States. So I encourage you to do that. And I just want to leave you with one thought here. I told you that we're trying to call a Convention of States according to Article 5, a Convention of States for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution. And just so you know, this has never been done. Yes, there have been Convention of States held, but never has there been a Convention of States held for the purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution according to Article 5. So you'll be joining a movement that's going to make history. And when we get this done, when we make this happen, we will have made history, folks. So this is something that would be great to be a part of. because I think, as you've heard us say, it's using the Constitution to save the Constitution. And I think we're at a point where we need to use the Constitution to save the Constitution in this country. So won't you come and join us and come make history with us? So with that, that'll be it for tonight. Look forward to seeing you all next Monday evening. As I mentioned before, we got Debbie Stewart coming on for constitutional literacy, and we'll be giving you some more information. I'll have some more pictures of current events and so forth and so on. So look forward to seeing you next Monday evening. With that, I'll say good night. Have a good night, folks.